Purpose of this podcast is to educate all of you about Florida family law. And to that effect, I believe it's important to explain a little bit about the filing process, how to file your case if you're getting a divorce or if you have a paternity case. But before we go into the e-filing portal, the Florida e-filing portal is both wonderful and a mess at the same time, depending on your level of skill, experience, and competency with using that particular software. Before we get into that, let's talk about step number one. Are you actually going to file a petition for paternity or the establishment of paternity? Is it your intention to actually file for divorce? You must decide that first. Once you've made a decision, then the page turns and your focus turns to what kind of a petition. Is this a simplified divorce where you and your ex agree on everything? There are no real assets or alimony and no minor children. Is that something that you two have agreed upon? You can appear in court together and everything is hunky-dory? Or if not, do you need an uncontested divorce? And to the extent that that is agreed upon, is your uncontested divorce going to be through counsel? Do you have minor children? Do you have substantial assets? What kind of a petition are you going to file? Is it a petition for divorce, or we call dissolution of marriage in Florida? Is this a petition for dissolution of marriage with no property and no minor children? Is this a petition for dissolution of marriage with property but no minor children? Is this a petition for dissolution of marriage with property and with minor children? I know what I just said sounds incredibly redundant. There's a distinction amongst all of those things. And I encourage you to make that decision before you file so that you can be extra careful that what you have filed are the appropriate documents. If you are filing a petition for dissolution of marriage that includes minor children, you need a different kind of notice of Social Security numbers to include your children, and you need a child custody affidavit called a UCCJEA, a Uniform Child Custody Jurisdiction and Enforcement Act affidavit, saying where your child or children has or have lived for the past 5 years and with whom. This helps the court determine a number of things. That for another day. Once you've decided that you want to move forward with establishing paternity or you want to move forward with your divorce, you of course need all of the correct documents. And then when you are ready, all of your documents are ready and all of the appropriate documents are ready, then you go for the Florida e-filing portal and take down this website address if you've never heard of it. Of course, you can Google it at any time. You can Bing it if you're a Bing man or a Bing person. You can use MSN, DuckDuckGo, any search engine. It is this: www.myfl, as in Frank Laura or Florida, courtaccess.com. myflcourtaccess.com. That is the website address for the Florida e-filing portal. Every state very likely has an online filing portal. This may seem labyrinthine to you. It may seem impossible to navigate. Some of you may even hire an attorney just because the filing portal and the process of filing is such a pain in the ass that you have no other choice. Nobody wants to pull their own teeth. Nobody wants to do their own taxes. Very few people realize the implications of every aspect of a divorce and just how important it is to have competent advice and legal counsel stewarding the process. Once you go there, you click on Enter the Portal. That will prompt you, if you are a new user, to go ahead and register for the portal. You're going to want to click the Register button if you do not already have a username and password. Once you register, and by the way, there are a number of different roles. If you're an attorney, then and you're a new attorney, register immediately. You're an attorney from the Florida Bar. If you're a court reporter, that may be helpful too to find out certain aspects of the case that may help you complete your transcript. If you're a self-represented litigant, which is what I imagine those of you filing on your own would be, you click self-represented litigant. Once you have then filled out all of the proper information and established a username and password, and by the way, that password better be a doozy. God forbid your ex knows your password and files something obscene in your case. I can't imagine anything more damaging, anything worse than tripping up the process of your family law case. Be careful. If your password is a strong password recommended by your computer, save it somewhere where only you know where that password is and make darn sure that it is concealed and hidden from everybody except for you and the e-filing portal at myflcourtaccess.com. Once you have everything credentialed and you have access to that, using the system can be done by viewing some of their tutorials, by calling a customer service helpline, or by consulting with counsel. Now, next, you should upload things only in black and white. Traditionally, the e-filing portal only accepts documents in black and white that are properly sized. Keep in mind, there's a different description for every document you file. If you do not know which petition specifically, then just simply click the petition button. If there's a notice of social security numbers of the parties, a notice of social and a social security numbers and a notice of social security numbers, I mean, choose the one that you recognize the most, choose the ones that's the most basic. Every different county has its own descriptors, its own description of every individual document you might file. Ultimately, you're going to have to insert the parties, their addresses, their email addresses to make sure that they get properly served. There's so much going on there. Some of the good news is you can save to Workbench if you get tired of it, frustrated with it, and then come back to it a little bit later so that you can finish it. Once everything is said and done, there's of course a filing fee involved. So how in the world do you determine the filing fee? Well, if you have a petition for dissolution of marriage, then you click petition for dissolution of marriage and you click what kind of a case it is, and it should auto-populate. If you are going to have to serve the other party with process, then you have to click the summons button. That's an extra $10. And these things will be added for you. When you're about to finalize it, everything has been uploaded, everything's been confirmed, and you are ready to proceed, then you're going to have to pay that filing fee. Whether you apply for a filing fee waiver through indigency application, I should say, or whether you have to pay the filing fee outright, there you go. Go ahead and do it. This has been another episode of the Divorce and Family Law Podcast. Nothing that I have stated here today is legal advice, does not create an attorney-client relationship. What my hope is and my intention is to educate you folks, to help some of you that are on the fence about these things, or some of you that just want to learn about the law, or maybe you've gone through this before, or a friend is going through it, or you're going through it, and you just kind of need to familiarize yourself with these things and understand that it's not as archaic, it's not as hidden, it's not as impossible as it may seem from the outside looking in. Thank you very much, everyone.